Good morning, students. In continuation with the chapter Federalism, where in my previous video I've explained you what is federalism, what are the features of federalism, and at the same time the two different kinds of a federalism. So today I'm going to explain you that what makes India a federal country. Well, children, already you have read about the two countries, that is Belgium and Sri Lanka, that how these two countries they solve their problems, right? And what about a country like India, where a large number of the people reside with so many languages, following different religion, culture, residing in different regions? Have you ever thought that how they have divided their power or how they are sharing their power? Well, let me explain you. Children, when we got our independence, after a very painful and let's say a very hardship of the people, our constitution was made and then it was implemented. When we got independence, that was a time when we had several princely states. They all became a part of a country. Now that was a time that our constitution declared India to be as a union of states. Although we did not use the word federation that time, but the Indian Union was based on certain principles of federalism. So if you all remember the 7 features of the federalism which makes a country to be as a federal country, those features have been applied in our constitution to make a country as a federal country. Like if you remember, it was said that the constitution originally provides for a 2-tier system of a government, where India follows that our power is been divided between the central government or the union government and the state government. And later on, a 3rd tier of federalism was added, that was the municipalities and panchayats. Now, as the federation, children, they differ according to the tier, according to the jurisdiction. It has been very clearly written in our constitution that the 3/4 distribution of our legislative power between the central government and the state government have been classified into 3 different lists. Means it has been mentioned clearly in the constitution that the power of a country has been divided among the central government and the state government, keeping in mind the 3 different lists on which the rules, the regulations are to be made. So these 3 different lists are union list or the central list, state list and the concurrent list. So if we talk about the first list, that is union list. Children, union list includes all those subjects which are of national importance. National importance such as defense of the country, foreign affairs, banking, communication, currency. Now these are few of the subjects which have been included in the union list, because on these subjects a very uniform policy has to be made throughout the country. So it's only the union government alone who can make laws related to these subjects as mentioned. Only central government has this authority to make laws on these subjects which will be followed throughout the country irrespective of the states. Then the second list is the state list. As the word itself is telling you that if it is a state list, then only state is responsible over here. So it contains the subjects of state and local importance such as police, trade, commerce, agriculture, irrigation. So children, these are few subjects which have been there in the state, and the state government alone can make laws relating to these subjects. That means these are the subjects where the laws are made by the state government. So the laws on these subjects may differ from one state to the another. Then the next list is a concurrent list. When we talk about the concurrent list, children, this list includes those subjects which are of common interest to both, that is the union government as well as the state government, means which are common in both. subjects like education, forest, trade unions, marriage, adoption, succession, and so on. So under this list, both the union as well as state government, they can make laws on the subjects, and if there will be any conflict which might happen while making the laws, so if there will be any conflict with each other, then ultimately the law made by the union government will prevail. That means if any of the dispute occurs on the making of the laws on these subjects between center and the state government, then the ultimate decision will be of the center government, which will be considered, not of the state. Now children, apart from these three lists, there are certain other subjects which are not included in this list. The reason, because these subjects are the subjects which came much later on after the constitution was been made. The subjects like software computer, that came much later after the constitution was made. So according to our constitution, the union government has the power to make laws on these residuary subjects. These subjects are called residuary subjects, and only the union government has this authority to make laws on these residuary subjects. So children, this is how our government has divided the power equally among the constituent units